Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 5 here at WeberTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. As testing is underway 2 hours ahead to see which cars are good, which cars aren't. There's going to be some that maybe sandbag. So who really knows who's going to be good? But right now, Louis Foster, first car out on track this season. We got 26 cars here for 10 teams. Only team that has not currently returned is 18 Aggressive Bees. We're waiting to see them come back, but they will probably come back eventually, just not before this test session. So 4 hours of testing pre-season, 2 hours on a road course, 2 hours on the oval. On Wednesday, we'll be going to Homestead, Miami for oval testing, but today is the road course. Louis Foster back for his second season at Swindlers of the Immortals. He's now running a pink and purple car, came up third in the championship last season. Swindlers of the Immortals took the team's championship and the driver's championship. However, the driver's championship did not go with Louis Foster. It went with Shane Van Gisbergen, who's out on track in the number 1. First two-time champion in Open Wheel Offline League history. So today, we're going to meet some of the drivers, some of these drivers. We got some rookies in the field, some drivers haven't raced in a good while. Only, I believe, 4 rookies so far. Those ones would be, see if we can find them as Ethan Martz goes to the top. He's changed teams as someone has knocked cones all over the place. But Ethan Martz has returned. And you may wonder why his tire rims are red. We'll talk about that in a second. But some of the rookies, we got Lawless Allen in the 92 for Team Eggs. Nico Hulkenberg in the 95 for what used to be Skibbity Sigma Racing. Now it's Barbershop Haircut Racing in that number 95. We have 2 others. We have Francesco Draconi, who's coming out of the pits now for Banshees of Little Miami in that 49 car. And then the final of the rookies, where is he? Or am I lying to myself and there was only 3? So Hulkenberg, Draconi, and Lawless. Oh, the other one. 4th car added for Swindlers of the Immortals. It's the 14 of Justin Allgaier. So looking to add to the Swindlers of the Immortals. Now, let's talk about this early. The 14 of Justin Allgaier, you can see, is running white rims. Oh, all over the place on that final turn. That means he is running a Honda engine. It's the easiest way to determine who's what engine. White signifies that they are running Honda. Black is Mercedes, so you can see right behind him, I believe that is the 49 of Francesco Draconi. Banshees of Little Miami running a Mercedes in black. You also see Fords. David Malukas for Masters of Motors has the blue tire rims. That signifies that he is driving a Ford-powered car. And then the red, which is what Ethan Martz has for Team Eggs, is a Toyota. Not evenly distributed. There's a lot of Mercedes engines. Silly Men Racing, Marcus Armstrong currently on top. He's on for Silly Men Racing. As that is something new that I've never seen before. Got a little meatball on the timing tower. New graphic for this season, I guess. So Shane Van Gisbergen, your champion, the first one to tear up a car already. Comes out of the final turn way too wide into the tires, so he's the first one to go off. As we have another car off. It's the 00 of Glubler Lore with Justin Allgaier right with him. Glubler Lore returning to the magenta trees for another season. But right now finds himself backwards. The Marcus Armstrong currently on top. All 26 cars have set at least one lap. Let's go to the smaller timing tower. Everyone within 5 seconds. Right now, Dorian Pin at the bottom of the timing tower. Dorian Pin recontracted for a second season at Swindlers of the Immortals. Did not have an ideal season last season, even though the team got the team's championship. Dorian Pin was well and away the third car, finished 15th in points. Right now following teammate Louis Foster. They're looking to have a better season second time around. Because there were good races, like Mid-Ohio was a good race, led for most of the way. Nearly won on the alternate strategy at Indy. Qualified on the front row as well. But just looking for a little bit more. And maybe with a second season it will go better. Now she's driving the 43, the ride that Shane Van Gisbergen has. As Van Gisbergen has rebranded to the number 1 as Dorian Pin will shoot up to 11th. Right now side by side with David Malukas in that 04 Ford for Masters of Motors. In for a second season at the team, driving the 04 instead of the 25. Finished 4th in the championship, got Rookie of the Season last season. Was a so-so beginning half of the season, but the second half of the season really turned on the power, was very good on the ovals. No wins, but a ton of podiums. That's exactly what the team wanted to see. As right now he currently sits 17th on the timing tower, so needs to find a little bit more. He's got a new teammate in the 75 of Devlin DiFrancesco, running red, white, and green. Devlin DiFrancesco, we haven't seen this guy since season 1. Finished, I believe, 12th in the championship out of only 16 cars. Trying to find something big this season. It's going to be his first full-time season, actually. Didn't do all of season 1. Came in right before Indy. Got, I believe, just one podium at the season finale at Auto Club. But luckily the season starts pretty much where he left off. going to be his first time at Michigan, as I saw Dawa Tenzin shoot up the timing tower. Team Canada Dry in for their second season, first full-time season for Dawa Tenzin in the 94. Right now, it's already looking better, 6th on the times table. Yes, it's early on, but that's still what you want to be showing. Dawa Tenzin, new teammate for him in the 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan. Third different team he's been on, no longer with Barbershop Haircut Racing, as they've actually downsized to one car, driven by rookie Nico Hulkenberg in that 95. Currently at the bottom of the times table, just looking to find a little bit of positive momentum in that Ford-powered 95. Did win a race last season, but still 23rd and 24th in points for this team. Right now, highest rookie is Justin Allgaier running in 4th, followed by Lawless Allen in 6th, and then Francesco Draconi in 7th. So Nico Hulkenberg a little bit behind his other rookies. Marcus Armstrong on top, looking for a good season. I think this team has some good momentum entering the season. Marcus Armstrong, very good at Auto Club. Just didn't quite work out in the end. But this is a guy I'd be watching this season along with his teammate Chet Jordan. A lot of positive momentum. The season started for last season pretty rough for Silly Men Racing, but then around Indy started picking up the pace. Armstrong got 3 poles, 1 win. Chet Jordan got a win. And right now Armstrong on top by a 10th over Ethan Martz in his 3rd full-time season, now driving for Team Eggs in that 76. Team Eggs, the only team to be running a Toyota. Right now, Ethan Martz, currently 2nd on the times table, finished 24th in the standings. So, last in points, that's really as bad as it can get, so hopefully it goes up from there. As he's got teammate Ryan Priest sporting new colors this season, orange, white, and black. Second in the championship. Actually, it was Ethan Martz that kind of took away that championship hunt. Crashing into his now teammate Ryan Priest midway through final race at Auto Club, but even then, there are still many results throughout the season that this team really should have gotten that didn't get, that cost him the championship. Indy is one of them. But right now, sits 5th on the times table, so looks like they have picked up from where they have left off, but we're only 15 minutes in. Dorian Pinn shoots up to 6th. I also saw Chet Jordan rise to 10th. So, Silly Men Racing downsized to 2 cars at the end of last season. Unfortunately, had to split off from Gail Barnhart. And that 42 car no longer on the grid. It's now the 24 and the 33. But this is a team that has decreased in size. We also talked about Barbershop Haircut Racing with only that 95 now. Some teams that have expanded, however, Banshees of Little Miami have added this 49 car. Swindlers of the Immortals have expanded to 4, with the addition of Justin Allgaier in that 14, and then Banshees of Little Miami, or we already mentioned them, my apologies, okay. Viking Racing has expanded, adding the number 19 of Nolan Siegel, who is a race winner in the series. Won Season 2 at Watkins Glen. Although it wasn't a good season, looking to be a good addition to this team. Right now sits 18th on the timesheet, not too far off Connor Zilic, that number 9, who I'd say is definitely a car to watch. You know the kind of pace that this team has. 4 race wins last season. Tied for most out of any team. 4 for Swindlers, 4 for Team Eggs, 4 for Viking Racing. I believe the rest, well, that accounts for 12. So you get 14 when you had 2 for Silly Men Racing. You get 2 for Eventide. That gets you to 16. Masters of Motors had 1. Skibbity Sigma had 1. Then Banshees of Little Miami had 2. So that's your 20. Connor Zilic current best time, a 1:25. You can really see on the track map the current problem that may prevent people from getting the absolute best out of their cars, that there's not a lot of room on this circuit. The smaller track. I think a lot of these guys are figuring out the hard way. Another driver that has disappeared for a while but has returned to the series, Tinkle McStinkle, in that 53. He's returned, missing from season 3 and 4. 4 victories under his belt somehow. Currently runs 25th. Eventide Racing, one of the few teams that aren't optimistic going into this season. They really wanted to sign Robbie Lohr to the second car, made a mistake and ended up with this guy. As Connor Zilic, we were just focusing on him, just goes to the top by nearly 4/10. So that number 9 hooked up once again, but as we go back to the 53, so already starting off on the wrong foot with his new team. But there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to improve. Eventide Racing had a strong second half of the season, especially Miles Rowe, who is right behind him. A lot of consecutive top 10s until the final race that ended in a DNF. Third season, second full-time season for this team and this driver. He's been with them the whole way. As Nolan Siegel jumps up to 4th. So Viking Racing, 1, 4, 5, and 6. If that doesn't tell you anything, then I don't know what will. Yeah, added to Viking Racing's lineup last season was Brendan Hubbard and Guy Gagné. Guy Gagné was, for most of the season, the second driver until the end when Brendan Hubbard really stepped up. Finished 7th in the championship with a win at Kentucky and Auto Club. That's a Triple Crown victory, nothing to scoff at. Guy Gagné did get a win at Portland, but finished outside the top 10 in points. So was beaten, so maybe a little inter-team rivalry. I do think they're probably more focused on winning races. Bang Bang Gisbergen back out on track. Currently in 21st. But I wouldn't be too worried about him. We already know where things are. at least based off last season. Something to think about is we did have regulation changes. That may have brought the field a little bit closer together. Some teams may have taken advantage, some teams may be at a disadvantage. Gonna have to see if Swindlers of the Immortals is one of them. Pretty much the dominant team in nearly every season. Gonna have to see if they stay on top. They've got 4 capable drivers, 3 race winning and 1 rookie. But right now the rookie is the best out of the team, Justin Allgaier, sitting in 7th. Louis Foster down in 14th. Dane Van Gisbergen in 21st. Dorian Penn in 9th. As Chet Jordan having a pretty quick lap. This one might go to the top, or close. It does go to the top. So Sillyman Racing coming out strong with a 1st and 3rd. Chet Jordan to the top. It's just a 2-car operation, so Teams Championship probably not on the table for them this time around. But the Drivers' Championship could be in play. It's just testing, but 1st and 3rd is a strong sign. I'm still really surprised Ethan Martz is hanging on inside the top 5 in 4th. Team Eggs really putting most of their weight on one guy, that being the 64 of Ryan Preece. Ethan Martz. Season 3 was a pretty strong outing, but last season not very good. But we're going to have to see if he can step it up this season. And has a rookie teammate in the number 92 of Lawless Allen in that gray and black car. The only Toyota team, so probably not going to be getting much money from the Manufacturers' Championship. So they may not be a factor. Right now, Eventide Racing at the bottom of the standings, currently 25th and 26th. Typically not a good sign when you see 2 teammates together near the bottom. If there's 2 teammates together near the top, like Viking Racing and Sillyman Racing, that's a pretty good sign, but those 2 at the bottom, it's not a good sign. Devlin DiFrancesco in his series return, currently 24th. Nico Hulkenberg did shoot up to 19th. I do think downsizing on a team, it hurts a little because you've got less drivers to really rely on to bring home good results. As Devlin DiFrancesco rises to 20th. But you do get the opportunity to hire faster drivers. Maybe that's what this team needs. Ooh, got a little held up with, I believe that is the 99. Brennan Hubbard right in front of the 95. Justin Allgaier right behind. Stingray Rob returns for a 5th straight season at the Magenta Tree's longest stint of one driver at one team. Been there for every season. 2 long tenured drivers with Stingray Rob and Glover Lore in the 00. Stingray Rob had a rough time last season. 22nd in points. No wins. Was pretty heftily beaten by the 00. The once a big improvement this time around. Wasn't in the leader circle, which is the top 20 once again for this season, so top 20 entries in points do get $1 million bonus at the end of the season, and this team only got it with one car, that being the Double Zero, who currently sits in 12th with a slightly new paint, a little bit more spikes. Stingray Robin, different colors this season. Black, purple, and red on his car. Almost at the first half hour, meaning that would be 1/4 through the session. 24 still on top, followed by the 9, and then the 33. The track is currently getting hotter, but after a while it will start cooling down again, so really you're going to see bulk of your fast speeds in this first quarter and the last quarter. Down through the corkscrew, a very sharp decline. Now, one thing I do want to say, it's a little odd Shane Van Gisbergen still down in 22nd. One of the few drivers that raced here back in Season 1. Currently no speed being shown as Ryan Preece shoots up to 3rd. Now that's what that 64 wants to see, but there is also the problem of not a lot of clean track room. Let's go on board with Shane Van Gisbergen while he's stuck in traffic to see what this is like. Got a big stack up near the corkscrew. Oh, this is a lot of traffic. Currently on board with Ethan Marks in the 76. Facing down 53 of Tinkle McStinkle. But it is quite a tight course. Look at these four all bunched up together. There's 3 green and yellow cars this season. It's going to be kind of difficult to distinguish them, especially because 2 of them look the exact same. I believe that is Dawa Tenzin leading the group in the 94, and I believe Mahavir Raghunathan is at the back of the group in the 54. Then you have the 76 of Ethan Martz in the middle, so that's 3 different green and gold cars. I mean, I think you can tell who's who based on onboards, but that's about it for at least the 54 and 94. Mahavir Gunathan, a lot more yellow on the helmet, whereas Tenzin, a lot more green. Maybe you'll be able to see that from a distance, but not when these cars are moving as fast as they do. Nico Hulkenberg getting a little taste of what it's like to be at the front of the field of an OWOL race. Someone has gone off in the back. That is the 53, who's, whoa, nearly hits the continuator. Got Jordan still on top. Only 9 cars within a second. Then only 23 cars within 2 seconds. Raghunathan, Rowe, and McStinkle are over 2 seconds back. as we're now 40 minutes into the session. Let's take a look at your weather really quickly, just to get a gauge on track temp. Currently 77 degrees. We're gonna have to see if that drops, but yeah, not a lot of improvement happening. As right as I say that, of course the 29 goes faster. Benjamin Peterson up to 20th. Didn't have a great season last time around. I believe 18th in points, maybe 19th. I think it was 19th. Wasn't quite where he wanted to be. 0 wins, so still only 1 win, 1 pole, both on his debut. Meanwhile, his teammates did win. Alessio Deletta finished pretty far down in points, barely got into the leader circle, basically on the last 2 races. One at Sonoma, and second at Auto Club was enough to get him across. But other than that, it was a pretty rough season. Hadn't finished in the top 10 until about halfway through. Meanwhile, Lindsey Brewer was battling for the top 10 for a good amount of the season, but at the end, fell down to 14th, had a bad race at Auto Club that really put her backwards. Right now, the team sits 11th, 14th, 18th, and 20th, as Francesco Dracconi, the new guy, currently runs in 14th. He's the oldest of the rookies at 41. As these cars all powered by Mercedes, every team runs the same engine. You can't split them up between drivers. Let's also, I think this is an interesting metric to look at, because you can see the speed, but one big thing is, can they keep it on the track? And almost everyone has at least one off track besides Dawa Tenzin and Alessio Deletta. Right now your leader, Benjamin Peterson, who we just talked about, has been off 7 times. As a 99 of Brendan Hubbard shoots up to 5th. Currently the second best of the Vikings, about 4/10 off of his teammate, Connor Zilic. That Jordan looks fast and pretty clean. Same with Hubbard, only 1 off. It's Connor Zilic is at 7 now. He may be quick, but having a lot of trouble keeping it on the track, it seems. Peterson off once again with Lindsey Brewer, or sorry, Dorian Pinn. Dorian Pinn as a meatball, so that's the second meatball that we've seen. So she must have made contact with the wall, as yes she did. She actually made contact with Peterson. Both go off together. She goes into the wall. Peterson not as bad, but they did go off together. Let's see how this really build up. So Peterson gets passed twice. Then Pinn's gonna come up the inside. Oh. I think we're gonna have to watch from her perspective as well. Did she hit something or? Oh, she hit the curb. That took both of them out. 29 was already low on pace. It's kind of on the outer groove of the track, not much grip out there. He paid the price. But more importantly, it was Dorian Pinn who made the mistake of hitting the curb. And that basically bounced her into the 29. So she's going to be on pit road for quite some time, losing out on some track time. Nolan Siegel in a pack with Devlin DiFrancesco, Ryan Preece. As that pack pretty much just disintegrated the second we clicked on it. Ryan Preece currently in third. So the speed has carried over into this season. Right now the whole team in some pretty good spots. He sits third, Mart's in 6th, and Allen in 12th. That's a pretty solid start. Only 2 of the Team Eggs cars got the leaders circle last season. Jacob Abel was not able to qualify, dropped to 21st in the entry points. Cost the team $1 million basically. That's going to be a little rough to overcome. It's just 1 million could really help out your team. Team Eggs, the only 3-car team this season. Everyone else has either downsized to 2 or upgraded to 4. Team Eggs kind of on their own island this season. Also in terms of manufacturer, with them currently being the only Toyota. Right now, Connor Zilich, right in the middle of an Eventide Racing shindig, 37 in the 53. Side by side going through the corkscrew. Currently still 25th and 26th, looking for more pace. Louis Foster also pretty far down the order. Now, if you go back to preseason testing on the road course, on the road course test at Charlotte, he was actually the fastest car. Right now, not currently showing the same pace, down by 1.3 seconds. Still over an hour left. Just needs one clean, good lap, and he'll be in a good spot. And yeah, testing isn't always indicative of where the pace actually is. Ryan Preece, 16th in testing at the Charlotte Roval, but finished second in the championship, so just because one thing happens doesn't mean it's guaranteed. Look at this little group that is clumped together. Alessio Deletta getting passed by everyone in the group. Oh, it's still tight. DiFrancesco held up on the inside as way in the back. I believe that was Draconi. Car slipped out just a little. Nearly went for a ride. That was a big twitch. Don't want to see a lot of those. There's only so many that you can hang on to. A lot of cars out on track or on out laps. Right now, Chad Jordan behind Nico Hulkenberg. Currently in a decent spot for that 95 team with how far behind they were for a lot of last season. Them to not be too far back is actually pretty solid, but obviously it still want a little more out of it than 19th, but definitely a step in the right direction. Ryan Preece making a move on Shane Van Gisbergen, or at least tried to. Championship rivals last season. Maybe for another season. Or are you trying to put the moves on each other as in the back, Draconi side by side with DiFrancesco through the corkscrew, as that is the 99 way off track. A little bit of an awkward spot to be in. So must have... Oh. Very fast. Through turn 10. Oh, and it nearly went over. Rotated really quickly, weight shift. Nearly caused that car to go over, but luckily stayed on all fours. 43 of Dorian Pin still sitting in pit road. Repairs being done to that car. As Brennan Hubbard will now come into pit lane. Currently sits in 5th. Track temp still the same at 77 degrees. So no change there yet. Zilich chasing down Foster and Armstrong. Foster squeezes him to the inside. He'll get some move done. It's looking very racy in this testing session. A lot of passes going on. David Malukas following the group. Stingray Rob in front. Connor Zilich, second in Rookie of the Season, not at all what he had wanted. He looked, especially early on in the season, looked like the guy to beat for it. But just a lot of inconsistency really made him fall out of it. 3 poles on the season, but only 1 win. A good amount of races that really should have been wins. But 5th in the championship in your rookie season is still nothing to be completely upset about, as he now comes into his 2nd season with Viking Racing in that number 9. Currently 2nd on the times tower. All 4 Viking Racing cars in the top 10. Miles Rowe at the front of this group. Still down in 25th. Armstrong nearly puts a move on Benjamin Peterson. Down in 20th. See if he can get the run going into turn 1. Not quite. Peterson holds the inside. Man. Still trying to chase down that 29 and 37. Still hanging strong. Dorian Pin back out on track after the incident with Benjamin Peterson. So going to be trying to get that car back up to speed. Trailing P9 right behind her teammate 10 of Louis Foster. Only 2 Swindlers cars inside the top 10. Big pack forming up right behind with 47 of Lindsay Brewer. She's going to stay ahead. Followed by DeFrancesco, Stingray, Priest. Oh man, I think that's Gagne back there maybe? As there goes a 75 around the outside. Oh, Miles, sorry, who was that? It went around the outside, it was Lawless Allen and Francesco Draconi. Still learning some of the cars out here. A little foreshadowing to what the racing looks like. Over 1 hour into the session. Weather shows that the track has cooled down just a little bit. So should be getting better, but right now there's a huge clump on the track of just a bunch of cars. Here's the blimp cam. Whoa, Stingray. Hang on to it. Right up ahead, that's Chad Jordan following Nico Hulkenberg once again. That 95. Brian Priest hanging out behind the 77. And that is the number 90 of Guy Gagné right behind. There goes Ryan Priest up the inside. Stingray gonna try and hang on to it. Won't be able to. Now Nico Hulkenberg basically leads the line. Whoa, there goes Chet Jordan up the inside. Very close with the 95. Nearly made a little bit of contact on the apex. Uh-oh. Uh, Interesting. There's a little bit of technical difficulties. Uh, well, not ideal. Yeah, no more feed. Huh. This is new.